He's not actually learning anything. It's the flow. I'm doing it too fast.
But too slow for your kids. I got it. Good morning. I'm going to call to order the City Commission meeting for the Ottawa City Commission for Wednesday, 15th, 2016. It is 9:30 in the morning, and we will begin our meeting with roll call.
Mayor Kaler,
Present.
Commissioner Reed,
Present.
Commissioner Graves,
Present.
Commissioner Jorgensen,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore.
Present.
We're all here and accounted for this morning. We are going to next go on to the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by our invocation by our Director of Finance, Scott Bird. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In Proverbs, we read, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." Let's pray. Lord, there are things in this world that we don't understand. They perplex us. They make our hearts sad. But we can rest assured that you are sovereign and that you hold all things in your hand. We trust you. Lead us. We pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. That moves us on to our agenda, our consent agenda, which is items 6 and 7 on the printed agenda that's always available for anyone on ottawakansas.gov. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from May 23rd, 2016, and an application for cereal malt beverage licenses for Maria's at 314 South Main Street?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner,
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
is there a second? I'll second it. It's been motioned and a seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. You know, I didn't even welcome everybody, so I'm going to kind of go back, and that doesn't even have to be part of the consent agenda. I just want to welcome everyone for being here today, and welcome those that may be listening through other forms of media. It is always nice to have individuals who are interested in the business that's really your business, and it's really the business that we do here today is for the citizens of Ottawa. So you're welcome, and please know that we ask you to be here whenever you can, either on the radio or listen, watch our videotapes of them, or however you can. But please be part of the process, because we're a stronger community when you're part of the process. That moves us on to the regular agenda, which public comment, and let me read this paragraph before we move forward on public comment. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items on the agenda may do so when that item agenda is called. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items not on the agenda but are under the jurisdiction of the City Commission may do so when called upon by the mayor. Comments on personnel matters and matters pending in court or other outside tribunals are not permitted. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and any presentation is for information purposes only, and no action will be taken. Today we have an individual, Tristan Hodges, who lives here in the community, who would like to talk about the skate park. Tristan? Yeah, come on up and introduce yourself and tell us where you're from in the city.
Okay, so my name is Tristan Hodges, and I live on the south side by the high school.
Okay.
I've lived here for 15 years, and I've been skating since I was like 6 or 7. And I just sat here and wrote this thing in a few minutes. This really wasn't a serious thing for me. I just came in here and was going to sit and listen. But
we're glad that you're here to tell us.
So therefore I'm going to.
Good.
I've lived here in Franklin County for 15 years and seen many kids grow up with very few productive activities around them. And the skate park has become a sanctuary for outcast kids that don't fit into any other sport or program in this town. Skateboarding is freeing, and when I skate, my heart feels warm and fuzzy. I forget absolutely everything going wrong in my life for just a few minutes. We've heard talk about a new skate park for years, and the kids clean the park, try to keep trouble and attention away from the park so we don't cause problems, and we've been hoping to be rewarded for it for many years. I think a new skate park would help a lot of kids in general and maybe benefit society by not having the noisy metal ramps so close to housing and families. I'm sorry. I just wish the thing that you guys said you do for years would happen. I just want a little of the city's tax money to go to the skate park just one time. Just a year ago, we built the new ORC with people's tax money, which claimed to be free until a few months later when they started charging $1 an entry fee, and now it's not even used, really, hardly. And the skate park's full of 20 kids a day, and it's 200 by 200 feet. I don't know. It's just
Right.
passion, and for years it's been the same. It's one thing about this town that hadn't changed. I think it's one little thing that doesn't take a lot of effort to change and could definitely be possible.
What do you like best about the skate park?
Nothing. I like skating. It's not even a skate park. It's just like I can't skate on the streets because I get stopped by an Ottawa police officer and they want to charge me for trespassing. And I tell them I've skated at the same skate park for years, all day, every day, and they say, "Oh, go back." And I tell them okay and do that. It's just one thing that has not changed at all. And Ottawa's changing, and I feel like that's one thing that would just be cool to change.
It's a really great point.
For it.
Commissioners, it's not that this is really a hearing for the weekend. We don't typically interact during public comment, but I really don't want to let Tristan leave the building without us having
And I
some
went,
questions
Tristan, would
for him.
if, we're going to, as soon as we get all the funds raised, we're going to be building this team park right there off of 15th Street. If we were to
Yeah,
put
I
a
heard
larger skate park as part of that, would that be?
Yeah, I heard that there was supposed to be something happening behind the sandbar. I've heard a lot of things, but I've heard a lot of things for a lot of years.
Yeah. Well, and just personally speaking, I didn't realize until you get into government how long it takes to get through the process of things. I'm sure it does seem impatient, but
I mean, the process hadn't even started in any way, shape, or form. I feel like it's just something that's not on any of you guys' mind.
Yeah.
It's just over there in the corner.
yeah.
Just figured I'd bring it to attention.
And there is work being done. I know it probably isn't visible. We will put updates on the Facebook page at times and things, but I appreciate you coming.
This is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I'm wondering if maybe as things happen, if we could get some more input as to
Yeah.
what people
There's a
your
lot
age
of
would like
kids
to
down
see there.
that
And
love to tell you how great of a place it is and how they feel safe. And years ago, you couldn't even leave your stuff out there, and now you can leave things and leave for 10 minutes and come back and it's still there. And it's just
But you'd like to see it in a different location so that it's not in a residential.
that one thing, and I'd like to have lights so we could skate throughout the evening in the summertime without having
Yeah, that's
to
true.
worry about a noise complaint and maybe getting arrested or processed or whatever. I'd like to be able to not have to worry about running into metal sticking an inch up off the ground, and I'd like to not have to worry about 110-degree ramps whenever I fall on them because they're painted black because the city comes paints them every month. I'd like to not have to worry about holes in the fence and city and coming and throwing everybody's stuff in the trash can. Like, I see some city guys every once in a while that come and just clean the park, but say some kid's jacket's sitting over to the side, they'll pick it up and they'll throw it in the trash can. Just little things. Just I feel like it's not an issue that anybody is aware of.
Tristan, we appreciate you bringing your comments to us, and I really do think it takes a tremendous amount of courage to stand up here and really talk to us, and we appreciate that, and that's the kind of citizens that we really want to come our way. I think I can safely speak for many of us here. I don't know that we were aware of all of these issues. We appreciate you bringing your concerns to us. We would like for you to be a part of the solution to making it better, instead of just telling us what's not working right. How can we work to make it better? So I'm wondering if maybe if we could take your information down, if you were willing to give it to us. We do have a play task force here in the community that works on all aspects of play, which would include the skateboard park. And unfortunately, the person who chairs that, Fonda Rose, who I'm sure that you know from the middle school, actually chairs that, but we have a staff member that helps her out, and that staff member unfortunately is ill right now and she's unable to be here. But we would love to see your input on that particular item. If you would be willing to give us your contact information, we promise that we will get that to Mrs. Lee and to Mrs. Rose and ask you if you can be part of the solution.
Okay.
I'm on that
Thank
task
you.
force as well, so I had to
I'm
help.
just happy that I was able to.
Yeah, and we'd love for you to bring other individuals along with you who have the same passion that can be part of the solution.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Good, good. We look forward to seeing you more often.
Tristan, not to embarrass you, but I want to give you commendations for offering to help the gentleman this morning out there in the wheelchair, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, he just looked like he was
Yep,
struggling.
I appreciate that.
You guys have a good
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Oh, that's always good. Declaration. At this time, I'd like to give commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication that they might have had that would influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Commissioners? Okay. That moves us on to new business.
A public hearing for temporary special event cereal malt beverage, CMB licensing.
A public hearing to consider providing legislative action that will address temporary special event cereal malt beverage licensing. Interested members of the public are invited to express their views with respect to this issue. Please note that public comments are limited to 3 minutes. I'm going to open this public comment, or this public hearing. Are there individuals who would like to come forward to comment on the cereal malt beverage licensing for temporary special events? Are there individuals who would like to address the commission on special event cereal malt beverage licensing? It appears that there are not. I can tell you that I have had, and I don't know if the commission also received an email from Leonard Chesbrough from one of our local churches who was against this, actually against another item that was close to this, but I think this is certainly something we've been talking about. But it doesn't appear that anyone is here who would like to comment. This will not be the only public comment or public hearing that we will have on this item. We will also have a public hearing I think it's 3 weeks now, which would be the 6th of July on our evening meeting. So if you're listening to this and you would like to address the commission on the special event cereal malt beverage licensing, please come forward at that time, the 6th of July at 7 p.m. I'm going to close this hearing. Closed. And we will move on to the next item on this agenda.
Request for approval of resolution for revision of the City of Ottawa investment policy.
Periodically, it is best interest for the city's Financial Advisory Committee to review the city's investment policy and bring it before the governing body. The attached resolution has been reviewed with no significant changes or recommendations to the governing body to adopt the resolution. Mr. Byrd is going to address this matter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, as indicated, periodically we do dust this off. I think it's been about 6 years since we looked at this last time, and the city treasurer and I pulled the investment policy out. There were not very many changes. In fact, what was done was like changing the word bank to financial institution, since one of our investment opportunities is with the Kansas Municipal Investment Pool, not a bank. So we made some minor changes. There was one other, a little bit more significant change in Section 6, which puts additional responsibility on the Director of Finance to ensure that if anyone in the Finance Department has interests that might be in conflict with the city's interests, that I make sure and disclose that to the city manager so that everything is above board and we know what's going on. Other than that, it's just a good idea for us to go back and look at that and have you all have an opportunity to see our investment policy from time to time. So recommendation is for approval.
Commissioners, do you have any questions about this particular request from Mr. Burt?
Just I, for one, appreciate the fact that we have looked outside even the local financial institutions, but the Kansas Municipal Investment Pool has been a good source of revenue for our idle funds, and I just want to congratulate you and appreciate you looking outside this community and getting the best return we can for our citizens.
And we've been watching KMIP for quite a while, but they finally started raising the interest rates, and that has been a good thing for our returns on our investments. It's good.
Commissioners, any additional questions or comments regarding this request? If not, I will entertain a motion if there is one.
Madam Mayor, I will make the motion that we approve item number 12.
Commissioner Skidmore makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded that we approve the resolution for revision to the City of Ottawa's investment policy. Is there discussion among commissioners?
Just one more question. I think, Scott, at one time you had mentioned most of all of our instruments are one-year maturities. Are we looking at going longer?
We can go up to 2 years, and once we get this one-year ladder built out, then we probably will start building that ladder a little further out in the attempt to get even better returns. But we'll want to make sure that we always have the cash on hand that we need to meet our needs.
Very good. Thanks.
Any additional discussion among commissioners? If not, we will proceed with the vote.
How do you vote? Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Graves?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And I vote yes, motion carries. That moves us on to the next item on the agenda.
A resolution to waive the statutory requirement to use GAAP-based accounting for fiscal 2016.
A resolution authorizing the City of Ottawa, Kansas to request the Director of Accounts and Reports to waive the statutory requirement to use GAAP-based accounting for the reporting fiscal year of 2016. And our Director of Finance, Scott Bird, will address this issue.
Now, this has been an annual event since 1991 when the Government Accounting Standards Board promulgated Statement Number 34, which requires municipalities to have full accounting of all infrastructure. What that means is we would have to account for every water line, every water tap, every electric line, every transformer, all of our streets, and the cost of that is just too onerous. Now, we're getting there with the technology. We are getting there, but there are other requirements in addition to that under GAAP-based accounting, which will remain too onerous for us for a while. I hope to get us there before I retire, but I'm not going to guarantee that because in talking to our accountants, they indicated for us to be able to do a full-blown GAAP accounting, we would probably need to hire 2 more accountants to help us maintain all of that on an annual basis. And so I'm before you again this year asking for this resolution to be adopted.
Commissioners, do you have questions about this request? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner?
I would move to approve this resolution to waive this statutory requirements to use GAAP-based accounting for the fiscal year of 2016.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
With a motion and a second on the floor, is there any discussion? If not, we will proceed with a roll call vote.
How do you vote? Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Graves?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And I vote yes, motion carries. Next, we again get to hear from our Director of Finance, Scott Bird. He is standing up here for quite a period of time. Thank you. We have a request for approval for a resolution for Neosho County Community College, and this is a completely different subject. This resolution authorizes the execution of an escrow trust account or agreement to provide the redemption and payment of the Educational Facility Review Bond Series 2010 and termination of certain leases in connection with such bonds.
And actually, all you're going to hear from me on this, and I can speak to it to some degree if you'd like, but I'd like to ask our bond counsel, Tyler Ellsworth, to step forward and explain what's going on here.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good morning.
We visited about this briefly at Monday's study session, but just to recap some portion of that, the city issued bonds in 2010 for the benefit of Neosho County Community College. The college is in the process of refunding those bonds, and the city will not be the issuer on the refunded bonds, but the city does, in connection with the refunding, need to execute certain documents, sort of releasing things and entering an escrow trust agreement for the portion of the bonds that remains outstanding. So the resolution for your consideration this morning addresses those items and authorizes the execution of those documents. I think at Monday's meeting there was a question about the par amount of the refunding bonds, and those have been offered for sale, I believe, in the range of $4.5 million. I think the principal amount outstanding on the 2010 bonds is about $4.1 million, and I'm not sure what the difference is in that $400,000. There may be another project that the college is financing with this debt obligation, so I just wanted to address that question, but I'm happy to answer any other questions that the Commission has.
Commissioners, are there questions of Tyler?
Just a point of clarification that the city is not in any way obligated on this, but we're simply a conduit for the community college to use.
You were a conduit on the 2010 issue. You will not be a conduit on the current issue. The college is actually the issuer in this case.
So it did shift all the way. I got it.
Yes, there was a change in the statute between 2010 and present.
Good. And my understanding is the college will be able to benefit tremendously from their interest savings, and so our good friends at the Neosho County Community College will enjoy a stronger cash flow as a result of this, right?
That's my understanding.
Good.
Commissioners, any additional questions for Mr. Ellsworth? If not, I will entertain a motion if there is one.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner,
I move that we approve the resolution for Neosho County Community College.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
With a motion and a second on the floor, is there any discussion among commissioners? If not, we will proceed with the roll call vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Graves?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, number 15 on the agenda.
Request for approval of bid for Ottawa raw water line improvement from Greeley Excavating LLC.
Professional Engineering Consultants, PA, review bids submitted on the above referenced project and recommend the contract be awarded to Greeley Excavating, LLC, in the amount of $1,403,354.00, contingent upon the approval of the bid by KDHE. Mr. Tharp and I believe Mr. Bueller are both here to address this particular bid.
We are. Good morning, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. I think we come bearing good news this time. The RFP process to establish a new raw water line for the community closed about a week ago. We opened those bids last week, and in that process came up with what we believe is very, very good news for the city of Ottawa. Our engineer's bid on the project was about $2.4 million. in opening the bids, we did come up with a low bid of about $1 million under that, $1.4 million. And I believe that number is good enough that we should move forward with this process. Oftentimes, when we do these processes, we talk about, throwing out the low bid and throwing out the high bid and coming someplace halfway in between. In numerous conversations with engineers, with other people that have done projects with Greeley Excavating, we have determined that they are a very reputable company, and that going with the low bid at this point in time is justified.
Mr. Tharp, where is the company, where's their home?
In Greeley?
In Greeley, Kansas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Mr. Thurman, I know KDHE has to approve the bid as well. What types of things do they look at? Are they just making sure that it's within the specs and things
Yeah,
like that?
they're going to look at those parameters that make sure that we meet all of those qualifications, that the contractor meets all those qualifications to do everything according to their regulations.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner, just a little bit deeper insight into that. KDHE also has their own engineers, and over the years, they also take a look at various stages to make sure that that it's being constructed in accordance with their regulations.
So they will come out on site?
No, they don't come out on site.
They're looking at the process?
They could under certain circumstances, but they're really just a regulatory or oversight. They like to look at the blueprints and have and you have to submit some things to the state for them to look at.
Okay.
No, you don't want them on site.
No, that's why I wondered.
Mr. Tharp, I know we're really deep into this conversation, but if a citizen is just new to this conversation, could you explain, in a minute or so, what exactly the Ottawa raw water line improvement is and why it's important to a citizen of Ottawa?
You bet. The raw water line, existing raw water line was put in at the same time as the plant, about 1980. We've seen a failure or two on that line. Time to fix that line, anywhere from a couple days to a week. Capacity of the plant could very well not support that. What the new raw water line does is creates a redundant source from the river to the plant to hopefully ensure that we were never out of water. We will still have the backup with the old line. We will continue to manipulate valves and make sure that line is functional. But without a redundant source, we have a single point of failure. Anytime we have a single point of failure, there is the possibility that we could find ourselves in a situation where we could not supply water to the citizens.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions regarding this particular item for either Mr. Tharp or Mr. Bueller?
I guess I have one more question, Mr. Tharp. We're not just providing water for Ottawa proper, we're also providing water for who else is benefiting from it? Dave?
I'll let David address that.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We serve water to the city of Princeton and 3 current rural water districts within the county. That'd be District 1, 2, and 4. We serve an approximate, last time I did the calculation, 17,000 population through those districts. So it's not just the city of Ottawa. We do wheel water to these other entities and are the major source for water in the county.
Very good. Thank you.
Commissioners, any additional questions for Mr. Tharp or Mr. Bueller? If not, I will entertain a motion if there is one.
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner.
I would move that we approve this bid for the Ottawa Raw Water Line Improvement from the Greeley Excavating Company.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second on the floor, is there any discussion among commissioners?
I just might add, I think the commission's been talking about this for a long time. If I remember, some of our elder commissioners to my left here, Blake, I think he's talking about it. At one time, bringing this, I just wanted to commend you all for thinking ahead like this, realizing that this is not something that's above ground and glamorous and people look at and, hey, look at this. It's necessary and it's hidden, and I just appreciate the previous commissioners looking into this years ago.
I think your point is well taken, Commissioner Skidmore. I think that when we do projects underground, it isn't visible to our citizens, but we certainly notice when we would notice if we didn't have water. So this particular project is truly important to the health and well-being of every one of our citizens. And really, it sounds like, several thousands of our citizens that live outside of the city of Ottawa. So saying that, I believe that we will, unless there's additional comment or discussion, we will proceed with the roll call vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Graves?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Mayor Kaler?
And I vote yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That moves us on to report by our city manager.
Well, Commissioners, just a couple of things that for you and the public.
Please, your mic on.
I don't know why the city attorney turns that on.
Protect you.
It's called his JOB.
That's true.
For that.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, you'll start seeing this more in the public, but the 312th Army Band from Lawrence is coming down here and giving a free concert on Tuesday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Free. So we need you to help promote that. It's been a long time since they've been back. There are some expenses associated with this. We're out looking for some sponsors to help with that. So I'm kind of excited over this because these Army bands are the best of the best. So that'll be a nice place for people to go on that evening if it's 100 degrees plus. So. And I might also talk to you about, we've had another terrorist activity in this country. And when this happens in one city, it affects all of us. And I think that you have to keep the people involved and the city leadership involved in that, because this is tough. It is tough to manage through any natural disaster or man-made disaster. It is just tough for everybody. So you have to keep them in their prayers, in your prayers and thoughts, because what they're doing over and above in their leadership, helping to with the families of the bereaved, helping with the survivors, helping with an entire community. And I think it once again demonstrates how vigilant we need to be as a nation. But it's also caused us, we've taken some security measures in City Hall. Now, we can't take 100% security measures, but there are some things to do in this day and age that we can make City Hall more secure, not only for the people that work here, but for our citizens that come in and do business with us. So there's a couple more items we're going to do, which you'll be seeing, and hopefully in the rest of this year we can get them done. And it's they are not improvements that I come to easily, because most of my career has been spent in an open environment and not having to be concerned about what may happen in a public place to citizens and employees at City Hall. But it's just the nature of the world that we live in. So please keep those families, the leadership in that city that is involved with this, because they will be dealing with the aftermath of this for many, many years.
Thank you. That moves us on to reports by our city commissioners. Commissioner Graves?
This weekend is the Swan Arts Festival at the city park, so I'm going to be taking my kids down there, but there's going to be all kinds of art vendors and live music and kids activities, and I think it'll be a fun day, and it'll be warm out, but I think stay hydrated and it'll be a good day.
Commissioner Skidmore.
Well, just that it's going to be very hot the next few days. If you know of neighbors that don't have air conditioning, the elderly, be sure to check on your neighbors if you could, just as a community thing. And also, I guess I have to ask Richard, is Army Band as good as the Air Force Band? Because I heard them a few years ago, and they were very good, too, equally. All right.
Well, you said Air Force Band. I want everybody, you said Air Force Band.
Well, yes, I did.
It is the best.
Yeah,
They are the best.
Okay. I had a feeling you might say that. All right. That's all I had.
Commissioner Reed.
I was going to enter the city band into that contest, but I don't think I will.
Well, this is of military bands now. City band is the best band all around.
There you go.
Military bands, Air Force Band is the best.
Okay. I also want to just remind the public about the 25th, which would be a week from Saturday, is the kind of the final culmination of the East Meets West art display at the Carnegie Hall. And some of it will be at Washburn Towers. It is from 10 to 6, and I believe this Saturday they also have some events, some classes that you can go to. So check that out as well. That's at Carnegie Hall. And I think that's it for me.
Great. Commissioner Jorgensen.
I'd just like to say that we had a public hearing today and had no input from the public at this hearing. So we have these hearings so that we can get the opinion of the public so that we can make decisions. And if we don't hear what the opinions are, then we don't have anything to base our decisions other than what our personal thoughts are and what conversations that we had with other individuals. So I would encourage folks to come to the next public hearing on July 6th to express their views on Sunday sales and also special event sales of cereal malt beverages.
Well said. That moves us on to reports from the mayor, and I believe that it's all been addressed here, and I concur with what my fellow commissioners say and have shared with individuals. I do want to thank Mr. Hodges for coming in. I do think it takes a moment of braveness and for him to do that. I think if that doesn't speak loud, that every citizen should come forward and talk about what's passionate to them. I don't know what does. So thank you, Mr. Hodges. I'm aware that he is not here right now, but if you see him or if you know Tristan Hodges, please thank him for coming to talk to us about what's important to him and for him shining the light on and feeling like he can come and talk to the commission, as we all want to feel approachable and we all want everyone to know that we are representing citizens here. Announcements. We have our study session, which is always open to the public every Monday at 4 p.m. at City Hall. We welcome absolutely anyone to come, and they can address us there or simply be there to watch us kind of do a really deep dive into every single item that it makes it onto our agenda. If individuals wonder how does the commission make such a rapid decision while they see us here on video or listen to us on the radio, we do that deep dive at our study session, and that is where, as a citizen, you can really get to know exactly what is going on our agenda, and I would encourage every citizen to attend that. That is time well spent here in our community. So again, Monday the 20th at 4 p.m. every Monday, study session. And then we have on the 25th, East Meets West exhibition from 10 to 6, as Commissioner Reed had indicated. Then we have a study session on the 27th of June. And the City Commission is embarking on some leadership training, and we will have that as a special call session at 5 p.m. for the City Commission here at City Hall. One additional item in the month of June, for the 27th of June at 5:45, we will have a special call meeting for our Airport Master Plan kickoff, and we certainly invite the public to attend out at the airport for our Master Plan kickoff so that we can put together a document that really sets forward what we see, where we see our airport going in the next several years, and gives a view to the public on where we're going with our airport. With that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
What was the name of the next edition? I didn't hear you say that.
Yep.
Oh, there.